this tournament type daily going. See what we can accomplish here. So, quick thing. You may notice the team layout and all that stuff is different from last time. There's a good reason for that. It's called I Screwed Up. Namely, actually completely left out like 2 or 3 teams last time. So, now they're all nice and spiffy and there's more of them, so that's always nice. So, alright. Let's see here. Didn't get any requests left over from last time, so I'll give it just a moment to stream in. Otherwise, we will be going for some of these rando teams here and see what ends up happening. Updated the random roll list as well. Hi there, puppy that's repeatedly running into my leg. Mr. Doggo. Mr. Doggo's running into me over here. It's the thing with labs. They're so friggin' adorable. But they're really, really affectionate. You're just like, quick, let me body slam you to show you that I care. Alright, I should probably check if there's any people even here, for that matter, because, yeah, it's one of those things that always seems to come up lately, where UI elements just don't want to load whatsoever. So if it gets a little bit laggy, it's alright. It'll be done in a moment. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing, or that chat didn't break again. So that's always one of these things that's probably a good thing to know, huh? Alright, and seems like so far we are live. Alright. So, what are we doing here? Let's do a first rando fight. Looks like we got Ogre Battle 64. Okay, they're still in the green. Versus XCOM. Okay, this is going to be a total curb stomp. I almost completely guarantee it. But alright, let's get this going. Man, why are all you animals so snuggly? What's going on with you? Devoid of attention or something? But yeah, it was Chrono Cross and Live a Live that I actually completely missed. So yeah, I don't know how that happened. Where was it here? What was I looking for again? Oh yeah, XCOM versus OB64. So. So first things first, XCOM. So this is the EU XCOM because Xenonauts was already taking care of that big old mass party thing. Because we weren't exactly going to be able to bring 24 rookies. Alright, sorry. Lunch being yeah, I wasn't meaning to modify the challenge party. I meant to select a challenge party. Dang it. I got it completely wrong. Okay, so here's the deal. This is like a mix of all the new XCOMs as far as the references go. So this is the Colonel Ranger coming in with the sword and we're just gonna go ahead and call a portable shotgun. He's got a sawn off or something. Who knows? Not the long war kind. No long war references in this one. I was just going for vanilla stuff. Got a heavy armor, seal of alacrity for that accuracy, because there's no way he's missing a close range with that thing. Silver barbute for a little bit of extra defense. Unfortunately, I couldn't give them Overwatch or anything. That would have been pretty friggin' sweet to be able to do that. But yeah, mostly these guys are just going in with their equipment as it is. Next we got the heavy ranger here. So he's got Cloud Kill as the kind of big AoE boom, as well as burst fire on his what we're going to go ahead and call cannon here. Damask Helm for a little bit of extra accuracy. Phoenix Flame Coat just because he's got that. He's got the Phoenix underlay. Seal of Vigor because he's supposed to be all tanky like. The Colonel support with we're going to go ahead and call this one a rifle too. With the Lobber for items and grenades and that kind of thing. Some Whale just because it also looks like the plated. As well as the Seal of Evasion because they usually come with a bunch of evasion perks. I've got the Colonel Sniper here with all their crazy high crit and everything, as well as a stun move to function as what the hell is it called? Disabling shot. So that'll work there. Again, with the lack of skills there, we're going to have this Golem here functioning as a mech. We've got the Crest of Fire with a Boulder Toss. This is one of the well, I don't know if I want to say tankiest, but this is one of the tougher units in the tournament. It comes with Granite Fist for the sake of that close range punch. Heaven's Tear for their big proximity mines. You know, presumably they decided to... No, not proximity mines. That big EMP move that they get. Gorgon Lock for One for All. Same thing. Hang on, I had another one here. Yeah, Rampart Aura, same thing as One for All. Augment Earth, so that he can get better at what he does. Phalanx, again with the One for All. Most of his stuff is for One for All. And then Shockwave to kind of double up on how awesome their punch move is. Shiv over here with Liftoff, because they can fly, Vortex Breath for that close range burst, as well as some kind of suppression type thing on it. He basically just attacks melee. He was supposed to have a ranged weapon. Well, these guys are screwed. He was supposed to have a ranged weapon, but that's fine. We're gonna count that as he has to reload his Vortex Breath. Tactician and then Siege. So, hopefully that'll be all well and good. Yeah, this is definitely not one of the stronger teams, but whatever, we'll see how it goes. And then they gotta fight OB64, so where's them dudes at? Yeah, just on sheer numbers alone, they've probably got this, even though the scores are very similar. Let's see, is anyone over here yet? I can't tell yet. Chat doesn't seem to be broken just yet. Actually, let's go ahead and test it with a bridge, because this will become appropriate in just a moment. Bridge, where are you? Give me bridges. Come on, little menu. It's being all weird like. Right. Let's test it, and yes, we've got bridges, Skulltopus, and Archer. So that's all well and dandy. Alright, we can shut that down. Wait a minute. No, we can't, because I'm going to need that random wheel in a moment. Alright, so Leah with her Thunder build here, going mostly for a caster type setup. She, I personally thought she was really useful as a back row kind of unit. So there we go. Augment Lightning. Whoa, puppy. Hey, can we stop trying to make out with this lamp, please? Thank you. Augment Lightning, Lightning Magic, all that kind of business. She's specifically made for defending, so lots of parrying. They've got pretty decent evasion, and then lightning type stuff. Got Magnus here with Parry, Overpower, Siege, and Rampart Aura, because everybody's got to get into their formations before they can attack him. Of course, Stone Ward, because he's invincible to stone, seems to be able to get other debuffs just fine. The Erasian and Titanium Mail reminded me of the birthday set that you can get. Seal of Might, because all strong and crap, and Gauntlets for his left arm gauntlet that he's got there. Dio here with the Kumbira, which we're actually going to count. The funny part is, there's an earth weapon that you could give him that also launched projectiles from the back row there, so this reminded me of the Stone Sword setup. Either way. Vikrant Mail, because it's, he's got his blue armor and everything. Damask Bracers for some extra stats. Seal of Might. Once again with the Overpower, Parry, Rampart Aura, all that kind of business. Ankaseth here, again with a similar type of skills, but Guardian Force, because the man simply must sacrifice himself under all circumstances. The guy just cannot avoid self-sacrifice. It's just don't question it anymore. It's just what he does. Oops. Turn the volume a little bit too loud there. So Brionac, for the sake of being a good mid-range pike. Tower Shield, because he needs it for that class. Nathalorc and Crucible to give him some good rounded defense, and Seal of Vigor, because he is one tanky boy. Redia here as the Ice Mage. Pretty standard type thing you'd expect from that. Avalanche 2 and 3. Went for pretty basic ones, because again, they only had a few skills that they can actually use. So those were the ones that were there. Peniel, Tower Shield, all that kind of business. He's got a shorter range spear, because he is a Hoplite, rather a Phalanx instead of a Cataphract. Which is kind of funny, because all these terms end up changing completely from game to game, but whatever. Next we've got Europea, coming in with the Longinus and all that. Which somebody pointed out from the Rebalance side recently that, she's actually referred to as a Paladin, but shows up as a Muse. Oh well. Anyway, so she's got all that holy scaling and all that kind of thing, and I think this sprite actually looks really similar to her OB64 appearance. We've got Aznabel over here, coming in with a Crucible Edge. This is not the right version. This is not the right OB64 team. Yes, this is not the right OB64 team. Because they should be right down here. Because I know I gave him a different axe. Yeah, there we go. There we go, that's looking more like it. Now let's view them again. Yeah, Shaitan's Belova and the Ogre Helm, as he should. Because, yeah, Aznabel, strong hitter, not very good at surviving things. Dio got the Iceberg, there we go, instead of the other one, because that setup wasn't really working too well for him. Kind of looks similar to that one sword you get towards the end of the game. Raid here is actually one of my favorites, at least for this tournament. he's a massive racist a-hole in the story, like, a complete and utter douchebag. But here's the thing. When he was remade in this, he's got no weapon skills. He's just got augment fire, parry, overpower, all that kind of thing. Overpower serves him way better than it probably should, and every single time that I've used him, like, he doesn't have any skill, he doesn't care. He just, like, runs up, double strikes everything until he eventually gets enough hits through to just beat it. It's bizarre how effective that's been. So, yeah. He shouldn't win, but he does, so he's set up with his full fire set, as he does. Ankset here, same setup as before. Troy, another one of my personal favorites here. So the Belmung previously was not part of the Dragon Slayer set, now it is. He doesn't need Dragon Slayer, but, you know, he has it there all the same. So yeah, he's just coming in as the Dragoon. I really liked making him as a Dragoon. So yeah, he's not a Hoplite anymore. He's a Dragoon now. Next we got Magnus with the Mateus, because the Total Whiteout is essentially there in place of, in place of the Pendra. Legion armor and gauntlets, because they kind of look similar to his armor in a way. And Seal of Might. So yeah, that ended up working out a little bit better. Yumel is kind of a weird one, because he's got two swords, he's got a classic, and he has two swords, but he's not doing it for the sake of dual wielding. The Oracian, which is actually the reason that I decided not to give it to Magnus anymore, looks very similar to that weird sword at the end of the game, where they're just like, here's this plot device that does plot things, just don't question it, it's here now. It looks very similar to that, and it actually does a very similar thing, with its whole laser light beam thing. Now we got the Barafa over here for the sake of him. He likes using that little bubble beam type situation from the back row. So that Frost Breath is there to give him that. Seal of Fortune, because he's surprisingly lucky at surviving fights he shouldn't. Scout Gloves and Garb of the Sages, just because it's kind of a good overall setup for him. Steel Stance, just presumably he's covered in guards again. And Deflect. He's not really there to do very much. Alright, next up, Meridia is still the same. Hugo here, he's not here to fight. However, he does know Tidal Wave, Haze, and Undyne too. It's okay. He's not going to be using them. He just knows a lot about bridges. He's only here to know about bridges. He is the tactician. He's just here to let everybody know how amazing those bridges are. Then we got Europia, as she was before, and Baldwin with the kind of like OG Black Swordsman set. And then Leah, the same as she was earlier, except this time with a Vestal Manica to make her a little bit better at what she does. Alright. And his Hugo's lines here. Let me, yeah, okay, I guess I can't go over his lines. Wait. Just completely screwed that up. Okay, so XCOM versus them dudes. Alright, let's do this thing. I'm gonna say this is 110% in favor of OB64. Pretty sure XCOM has no chance, but I guess we'll find out. Because, yeah, the funny part is, despite the fact that the Xenonauts transferred over very well, I will say that XCOM really did not, actually. Yeah, remember the bridges, of course. Always gotta remember the bridges. Alright. And, yeah, there we go. Now it's all automated, now we just sit and watch the carnage. As we do. And to anybody that is showing up and or not showing up and or all that kind of business, if you have any requests, feel free to let me know, and we'll make them happen. Basically, unless somebody's on the yellow side, they're fair game for a match against anyone. Alright, so he's getting himself momentum. Now, yeah, the reason behind this team, by the way, is at one point, Yumel was just given the dual swords for Frost Breath there, Asnabel was just given a basic axe and the Ogre helm and all that kind of business. But when I went for those kinds of setups, the team was kind of lacking in overall power. So we'll see how that goes. Now, since XCOM got chosen first, they essentially get map advantage here. I tried to pick maps that would kind of hopefully advantage that team if they've got fewer units. So in this case, they're going on a presumably like a terror mission or something like that. So they're over here trying to protect this port town from these dang invaders. over from Platinus. Those dang Palatinians coming in their UFOs. So over here, this is one of the few maps that actually gives them a better chance, in which it kind of funnels everybody. They've got a long way to come through. Faster units tend to come through first, all that kind of business. I figured since they didn't transfer very well, it's kind of fair, but it only ever takes effect if they end up getting selected first anyway. Because the Palatinians start on a bridge. It just seems fitting, you know? They're there to defend their bridge. The place has a lot of bridges, what can I say? Alright, they're trying. Alright, so far 1 to XCOM. Like, they've got a lot of range stuff, that's the thing. They're going to generally be pretty good at keeping themselves in range. But they just don't really have much else going for them. So we'll see how it goes. Interestingly enough, Augment Earth actually went up from Lightning Attack. So those two are considered opposites. It's weird that made Augment Earth go up. Let me double check that. Is that right? It's actually never tested that one before. No, actually no. It's because he was Gotcha. It's because he was attacked by a human character. His anatomy went up. There we go. That's pretty decent. Let's pretend he's a ballistic shiv. He's somehow a hover ballistic shiv. Don't even question it. Troy just chucking rocks at everybody. You get him, Troy. Now, the AI pretty much never uses Dragon Slayer, so it'll be funny if he ends up trying to. Because even though I don't have the skill on him from the set, he should be getting Dragon Slayer right now. The funny part of that being that he'll... Like, the only time they ever turn it on is at the end of their turn. So it would be a very specific thing where you'd have to attack, get his 50 TP, turn on Dragon Slayer, and then basically go attack the Shiv that way. So the Shiv's pretty durable, as it should be. Man. Okay, you know what? That's right. I didn't give him an attack for that reason, that's what it was. He's meant to reload, because I have to reload constantly. Alright, that works. I forget what I was thinking with some of them, but that one makes sense. Alright, so we have the big old rocket launcher there. Yeah, that's what we're going to go ahead and call Umbra. See, it works. If you squint hard enough, it's there. Alright, she's going for the summon. Alright, so far so right. I mean, I'm rooting for the XCOM team, to be honest. Like, as much as I love OV64, it's just an underdog thing right now. Because they're not doing too badly. Like, they're getting them all one by one. You know, kind of got them in a nice little choke area there. They've got their kind of sort of formation set up. I didn't put barricade on any of them because that seemed like it would be kind of weird. Alright, he can do just fine without even an assault token, so that's fine. I think the assault tokens only add like 25 attack or something. Like, it's something really insignificant, but it lets them carry a charge. So you can get by with not using them. Right, I want Raid to just succeed here, though. I want Raid to be like the one that beats everybody. Again, hate the character, but just when he got remade, he just... The guy tries so hard. He tries so dang hard. Right, punch him out. There we go. He didn't get punched out. I know. I said I wanted him to succeed immediately before asking him to get punched out. And yeah, if you've never played XCOM EU, so the mechs were basically this unit where you would take one of your other units, you would amputate their arms and legs and shove them in a robot body. Yeah, that's as messed up as it sounds. So they would lose all their skills from their old class, but depending on whatever rank they were, they would get a new set of skills, which depending on what they were usually really overpowered. So for example, like one of the best ones was the support, where they would basically just have a shield. And whatever unit was closest to them, I think they got like a 40% aim penalty. So what you would do is you would just basically run them right into the thick of it, and you would have a bunch of units that would repeatedly run up and try to get better shots, and they're like, wait a minute, why'd my accuracy drop as soon as I got close? So then they would constantly get missed at really close range, and they would survive really well. Or I think the assault ones, were like some kind of crit bonus or something. The snipers got a bonus if they didn't move, and like they were just really, really good. Actually, no wait, the heavy one was probably the best. I think that was the one with the assault armor, when they just basically survive hits. Like I think it's like 33% reduction if they get attacked more than once. But yeah. Point being, they were this class that had all these different skills, all these different weapons. Like they were the only ones that got proximity mines and could do like area heals and like smoke clouds and EMPs and whatever else. Didn't even matter because one of the first things you can give them, and it's not even a skill. It's actually just one of the things that you can swap out because you can like you can edit the mech suit and then the unit separately. So like you could give everybody a punch. And the friggin' punch just one-shotted everything. It didn't even matter. Like in the early game when you first got it, it one-shotted everything. If you got all the way to the end game, it would two-shot everything. But then you could upgrade it so that once again it's just one-shotting everything. Like I think once all said and done, it's like 18 damage. But yeah. To give you an idea, your starting health on your characters on that one is like 4. So, like once they're all the way promoted, it's like 15. Yeah, they can punch for 18 though. So any of your characters, they can just one-shot at any point. Which, by the way, if you ever play the Vita version, is really unfortunate, because there's a bug in that one that causes them to punch in a random direction sometimes. Which means you'll be sitting there playing Iron Man, like trying to save one of your characters from a chrysalid. Like, by the way, it doesn't matter when, they will always one-shot a chrysalid with 100% accuracy. But there was this, this great one where I was trying to punch a chrysalid and I ran into the punch bug, and he just like turns around and punches the highest ranking member of the team, just insta-kills them. It's like, really? Really? You were supposed to, like, what was it? You were supposed to, you're supposed to get rid of them instead you joined them? Or whatever? No. No. What was that line? What the hell was that line? I don't remember. Yeah, wow, the XCOM team's actually winning it. It's mostly because of map bonus here right now, but yeah, they're doing it. They're doing it real good. Actually, yeah, has XCOM even lost anyone? Oh, I guess they did. They lost the sniper. Right, let's see. Everybody else is about half health or full. Yeah, the mech is a little bit scared. By the way, fun fact, the mech actually can't panic. I probably should have given him Fear Ward. Actually, no, they can panic. They're just given, I think, like a 40% reduction in the odds to do so, which is functionally they never panic. I think the one time I ever saw them panic was this guy that had gotten injured so many times that he just basically had permanent PTSD. So his will, like his natural will, was like 5. Like they start off at about 65, and then they lose a few points every single time that they take an injury, or they take an injury bad enough. And they end up getting more will every time they level up, but then after a little while they stop leveling, and I think you can drop it infinitely. So they eventually just have to survive off their bonuses. So you, like, for example, like one of the perks you get is just whoever has the highest will in the team just pretty much overwrites everybody's, which means that if you have a mech and they're the leader of your team, just nobody panics because their friggin' boss is Ultimate RoboCop. So, it's great. It's so good. So good. I don't know if that's exactly how it works. I just know that I've never seen people panic while there's a mech in the team. Maybe it was just good play. Maybe that's actually how it works. There goes Raid. Look at Raid being awesome here. He just does not stop. He's got pretty low odds to hit on everything but that dragon. It doesn't even matter. The man simply does not stop. Yes. See, now that's pretty fitting for Dio. Of course he'd say something like that. Man. Let's see. Any chat I'm missing? Not really. Okay, good. Good. Let's shut this down again because I don't want it to lag anything. Alright, Baldwin didn't feel like getting punched out, that's fine. And yeah, now that I remember it, the first weapon on Magnus is because he's got that double hit for most of the game. And he gets 3 once you get to the very end, but there was really no way to emulate that without giving him an instill, and then kind of just where do you draw that line, so it's fine. That seemed fitting for Ankaseth. He wants to get hurt more. He's got to sacrifice himself for everybody. Let's see, which was the big Baldwin brother? Steven? Is he attacking, he's attacking the mech head-on? I don't know. The Baldwin thing's confusing. I just know that one of them shows up every now and then on the Saturday Night Live show that I don't watch, but I'm vaguely aware of. Man, I don't know what it is with that show. It's like it shows up every now and then with something funny, but I don't know. It's been really hard to watch the last few times I've just randomly gone and tried to look at it. Does anybody else here watch SNL ever? Like, does it have more golden moments that I'm letting on here? All right, let's look at these numbers here. I think XCOM might actually have this one. Which I guess would be really fitting. Yeah, let's see. The mech is low. The kernel support is still here. They've lost the rest of their team. Yeah, Ankaseth and Raid are about to go down, though, as is Magnus, so those are their big attackers. Yumil, he's probably used all of his abilities by this point, so he's not going to be doing too much. Europia is pretty low damage. Baldwin's a threat, but he doesn't really have any skills, so I guess we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Raid's there with his vigorous attack. Like, just, okay, Raid with no weapon skills, just vigorous attack and double strike. Like, the man just does not stop. He'll just keep on going. He does not even slightly care. Let's see, it's highly mediocre anymore, too many political attacks, not enough actual funny. Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on the political stuff, but every now and then, you know, you'll see a good burn, I guess, but yeah, I don't know, it's just seemed like it's really... I don't know. I just don't remember very many good skits now that I think about it, like the last few years especially. Like, I heard rumors that it was dying years ago, but it's still there. It's a decline that never ends. It's like the story of my life. Huh. Alright, there goes Leah. Unfortunately, wherever Hugo happens to be... Yeah, bring back Chris Farley. I'll be a little bit late for that. Oh, goodbye, Magnus. As that mech is over there just stomping everybody. Alright, well, he just took Europia out of the equation. Probably need to get Baldwin out of here, but that's fine. He's gonna go for that support. That's fine. She's doing okay. Why is she not using better items, though? She should have better items. But she's just using Mend Leaves. Let me check that. Because she should have Field Out too, I thought. Does she not? Alright, I guess she doesn't. So Hugo died before he got to the bridge. Yeah. Well, he did remember to tell everybody that you gotta bridges to win, so there's at least that. Yeah, when he dies, his death text is supposed to be you gotta beat them in order to defeat them. But, goodbye, Colonel Heavy. Colonel Heavy has bled out. Everybody panicked. Oh. Oh, Raid, you tried. You tried. But the mech is just too beefy. 'Tis but a scratch. Funnily enough, that's actually one of their lines, which is even more... Oh yeah, those don't have friendly fire, that's right. Oh, come on. Do the wipe. Ah! Oh, he had a potential like a triple wipe there. Alright, there we go. That's probably the fight. Unless the Colonel support can pull off some miracles here. Yeah, his dreams to come back in XCOM 3. His dreams. Man, they did real well, though, I gotta say. This is way better than I expected the XCOM team to do. Like, I thought they'd be screwed for sure, but yeah. They took a group twice their size with, well, I mean, hell, they're right down to the very end here. And there's still a possibility that she'll just end up outranging them and running away over and over. Because they're only recovering with healing leaves at this point. So what do we want to see for the next fight then? I don't know if you were here for it earlier, Evan, but I got the other teams back on the list. So yeah, there were a couple that I missed. And those were actually those ones that I thought were multiple saves. The ones that were marked as Vita cake on the saves. So that was Live a Live and and Chrono Cross. I knew some were missing. I knew some were missing because it's yeah, it should be 28 teams that ultimately made it, something like that. Which is a shame. I thought it was gonna be more of them, but I just figured, you know what, after over a month, I think it's fine to say it's close enough with however many made it in. Just move on. Because if I was to finish the other, let's see, it was no, it was Chrono Trigger that I'm thinking of. Did I mistakenly put that as Chrono Cross? Tell me I didn't. Yeah, I did. You doofus. Why you did this? There we go. Trigger. I don't want to mess with the formatting of anything else, so we'll just leave it misspelled. There's always next season. Yeah, I was hoping for next season to, I don't know, maybe get some people doing user submissions or something. That'd be fun. Like have full-on actual tournament. But then I'm wondering if that would be too competitive. So that's the kind of stuff that tends to get people kind of weird. Like, oh man, you must have did it wrong. My AI did something stupid, and then it's like, yeah, that's the AI for you. Like that. So I was doing a tournament for Armored Core a little while ago, a little bit over a year ago. That was for Armored Core Formula Front. So if you've never played that game, basically the entirety of Armored Core is just like building mechs with Legos and all that kind of business. They're not actual Legos, but functionally speaking, that's kind of how it is. Like you're just taking all these giant robots, collecting parts for them, and making this custom machine. And so Formula Front was a brilliant idea that they actually had to make a 5v5 fight, wherein you basically have an AI set up for each of your different ACs. You don't have any direct control, and/or if you try to use direct control, you just get like intentional lag in the first email that they send you. Basically says, yeah, like we're trying to figure out this whole remote control thing to make it more directly controllable, but it's really slow. Anyway, so the point being, you know, you just have this AI set up for them. You have their weapons and everything else. And between these 5, there can be no shared parts out of your part roster. So this led to some really interesting setups if you're on the Japanese side. Because on the US side, well, here's the thing. On the Japanese side, they got the PS2 version working. They got it working online, that is. Or to some degree, anyway. And that's the thing. Like, they have new maps that weren't in the game originally. They have a full 5v5 thing to have actual tournaments. They've got like all this fun crap to it. But then over on the US side, we're mostly with the PSP version, which means that it's limited to mostly 1v1s, because the PSP version does not work for its online mode. Like the 5v5 mode is unavailable unless you actually have 2 PSPs right next to each other with the disc versions. So that's not going to happen. There's really no convenient way to make that happen at all. All right, so. Let's see, do we have a request, or are we randoming it? Because, let's see, random says OB64 versus Game of Thrones. So, speak now, or temporarily hold your stuff. Alright. Actually, you know what? I kind of like this matchup. Let's just go with it. I'm going to say OB64 might have this one, but we'll see. We will see. And yeah, this time we actually got the proper bridges map. And he's using that Reba ring. Bam. That's disappointing. Yeah, so the funny part is about the Reba ring, it's actually somewhat random as far as the amount of turn units, or not turn units, but recovery time that they get to use it. I think it's something janky with the way that I have the dragon set up right now. Which, don't worry, the ring was mostly used for stats anyway. But yeah, no, he pretty much rolled the lowest possible value, so his quicken ran out immediately. So, that was pretty good. But yeah, this should be a nice backstabbing fiesta. You know what? I should ask, I forget their name at the moment. There was somebody that had gone and made, basically remade the entirety of the teams for, what's it? There's like a full Valerian team, and a full Zenobian team, and a full Bakram team. I wonder if he'd be willing to share the team files, because I'd love to have them in one of these tournaments. But, yeah, that's it. I mean, that must have taken them a lot of effort to actually put together, because you need custom codes for each of those characters. You need to have your saves set up in such a way that you can even make use of such a thing. So, we'll see. Now, yeah, the OB64 team has got some good advantages if they can get close. But at this range, they're just getting torn apart. Like, they've definitely got the stronger close-range combatants, I think. Combatants. Well, I mean, unless Leah can bring it back. Yeah, we're taking some hits anyway. Doing okay. Doing alright. Yeah, see, I would think, like, one good way to limit it when, random, childly, dry erase marker. But I was thinking, like, one good way to limit it would theoretically be to use the point system in-game, but the problem is that unfairly punishes anyone that uses beast units. But I'm starting to wonder if that's really unfair at the moment, because, again, with the XCOM team, they were given extra points to be roughly similar to the OB64 team, and overall they landed pretty okay. Like, they were pretty close. The numbers definitely didn't lie there. See, the multiplayer was, surprised they would start one player off at such a disadvantage. Yeah, especially with archers how they were in game. Like, with a lot of these maps, you'd think they would be different. Like, it would have been really cool to have the castle maps where one side's in the castle and one side's outside of it. But for those ones, they start you off at the flanks. With this map, it seems really weird because in game you start off at either end of the bridge, and that would have been the fair fight. But I guess they wanted to have the whole up and down thing for the bridge instead of the castle, so they start you down there. Presumably they just used whatever the starting locations were for the random battles, is the only way I can think of for how they did it. Because it was probably a last-minute inclusion. Like, you can tell they put some love into it. It's just it seemed like they put some love into it, but they weren't really given the resources to go too in-depth with it, so they're like, okay, we'll try our best kind of situation. So, who knows, right? Who knows? Oof. Yeah. I'm feeling they're not gonna do so good. Oof. So, how about that one-sidedness, huh? I mean, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. We'll see how it goes. Kind of surprised we haven't seen the MOTBQ team yet. I mean, there's a lot to go through. There's plenty to go through. I mean, I tried to give them as many of their available advantages as I could. So we'll see some surprise stuff, I'm sure. I mean, we've already had a few surprises, so. So we'll see. We'll see. Like, let's see. Looking at that team, kind of want to see Secret of Mana versus Chrono Trigger, actually. What do you guys think? Actually, come to think of it, Xenonauts versus XCOM probably needs to happen at some point before the end. Like if Xeno somehow winds up in the loser circle. Gonna have to consider it. Oh yeah, so I was getting at it earlier, so Formula Front, right? So that was a funny example where the entire thing, the entire experience was built around this multiplayer experience. So is it going to suggest that matchup? I got distracted by work. Will do, will do. But yeah, so what was I getting at here? So yeah, the funny part was that that whole 5v5 thing was the entirety of the balance of Formula One. And then yeah, they just didn't include it for any offline thing whatsoever. They just included this, like, you go through an arena of 1v1 fights, which made no sense, because they're like, what? Why am I limited for these parts for these different machines? Like, well, why can't I go for a full team? Why are they talking about building teams? Why can't I make a team? And I was like, yeah, that was the original thing, and I guess they ran out of time for the one feature they're supposed to be built for. Because it kind of seems like their budget was about $5. I don't know. Like, the AI was pretty terrible. Actually, the AI was pretty notoriously terrible. When we were doing tournament type things, a lot of stuff had to be banned just because the AI had no idea how to deal with it. Like, one of the systems was this overheat system, and there were specifically certain gadgets that were used for that exact purpose. Man, this poor Dragoon over here. I think that's Troy. He's just running around, just taking debuffs off everybody the entire time. He's just the medic of the team. All these curses, though. Anywho. Yeah, I don't know why the AI values getting rid of curse so highly. It's kind of minor. I have a feeling at some point I was supposed to do something else. Like, especially the fact that they split curse into 3 different moves, and only the third one was ever even worthwhile. Not sure. Alright, Rand just took out Aznabel. Suppose that's fitting. Funnily enough, there was originally going to be a Thormund on the team, but yeah, he was really similar to Aznabel. That's why it comes up. But decided to put that dragon in there instead. Oh well. I think everybody that I want to get in there is in there. Oh yeah. So yeah, back on that armored core thing. So it was funny because yeah, they had all these overheat things, and specifically like napalm that was in there. Any fire thing hit one of the mechs, they would just like their energy production would go down, so they're suddenly slower. They start losing health every second, and then if they were using any energy stuff, it just stops working because the AI looks at a bar. And if you played, like, if you haven't played those, if you played Dark Souls or something like that, it's kind of like the stamina bar, except if it reaches 0, you have to recharge, which means it just shuts down completely. You can't use anything, and then it goes all the way back up to the top slowly. I think at about like half the rate that it normally does. So the stupid part was the AI was set to only calculate what their current energy is whenever they were doing anything. So if they ever tried to do 2 actions that used energy at the same time, they would just immediately shut themselves down. Which led to some hilarious stuff where it's like, hey, I have enough to like shoot this laser cannon and also to fly, and then it would try to do both and then just plop to the ground like a rock. So it was let's just say iffy. There was a lot of working around really stupid AI, which is kind of fun on its own, but there were certain things like that whole napalm thing where if somebody had like 2 bazookas and a napalm, nothing could beat them. Because it would just be a stun, and a burn. They can't move. They can't really evade anything because they can't fly anymore. They're just sitting there melting the entire time. And like most of the maps, it would have been fine if they started off at some distance, or if you had some control over, or some good control over what distance they can keep. But it was one of these cases where just like fast builds were generally frowned upon, because you basically start off right in front of each other, and it's like, okay, that one's got a bunch of very heavy stuff. They fired immediately, the other guy has no chance. So it was like one of these things where we had to go ban a bunch of the maps, had to ban a bunch of the parts, had to ban certain builds under certain circumstances. It's like one of those where just the ban list becomes stupid. So ultimately, the more fun one was to take all the story builds throughout the entire series and remake those, and then just have them fight it out. Now, I'm just a huge fan of that kind of stuff. Whenever you can do that, like it's possible in Knight of Lodis, it's possible in this, it's possible in Formula Front. 2 very different genres, but very similar idea as far as having the AI handle all that stuff for you. It's nice. Alright, let's see how badly this is going, because I'm not seeing any... Well, I'm seeing Aznabel down, but that's about it. Why are you bothering with healing? Alright, so we got Aznabel and Dio that are down. GOT team's looking pretty much untouched, actually. Gotten almost no hits off here. Yeah, this is definitely gone. Definitely going GOT for sure. Is it fair as far as map layout? Probably not. Probably not, but such life, such life. In fact, I probably should have started all the teams on something that directly... No, that's what it was. I was trying to set up all the teams for if they've got a lower number of units for something that directly helps them. And if they've got a higher number of units, something that's, you know, just kind of something that was fitting for their theme. So in this case, this was the one with the biggest bridge. You know, that had to be the OV64 team. There was no other way. Now, I know that this is supposed to be like a bridge on top of a little valley, but they just couldn't have any tiles going down behind it. But what cracks me up about this map is that, technically speaking, looking at it as it is, they basically just decided to build this massive bridge going over this tiny gap when they could have just moved it over to the left a couple feet. They could have avoided this entire situation. So you could have just flattened the ground over there. It would have been fine. Would have had your road just fine. It would just curve a little bit. Not the end of the world. It would save you building a ton of bridges. But you know, the Palatinians couldn't have that. They need their bridges. They adore them day and night. What is life if not bridge? Yeah, this is a curb stop fight for sure. Let's just go ahead and give you your loss right now. Yeah. Plop. And then the next one will be Chrono Trigger versus SOM2. Like, unless Europia manages to somehow pull this out. I think that's safe to say that's pretty unlikely. Surprising that he saved his momentum up until now. That's fine. I mean, the thing is, Baldwin is definitely one of the stronger hitters of their team, but he's just stuck down there under the bridge. They're just coming through one at a time. Ankaseth's still slightly holding up. But the cool thing is, if you have those characters that can survive, and they've got, you know, like in these cases, they've got their parries and deflects and all that kind of business, every time that they roll them, they become better at them immediately. So it's very possible that he can still pull it out. That feels like a very unfortunate that's what she said in a retirement home. We're not gonna go down that road, though. Totally didn't start going down that road. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyhow, what else here? What is there to discuss? I don't know. Ow. So this is kind of completely out of nowhere, but, sorry, my kiddo's sleeping right over there. Sleeping like a rock. Anyway, what was I getting at here? So, funny thing on the ongoing story that is my inexplicable bad luck. So, yeah, every now and then, you gotta do this plasma donation thing, right? So, I go over there, and, you know, long line that have to go through this whole thing, because, like, last week they messed up my arm, I got this whole blue thing on there. So, all last week they refused to let me come back, because they're like, no, you have this blue thing on your arm, how dare you try to come back? Like, well, you guys gave me this blue thing, I would like to get my money for the week, please. Anywho, so, I go over there, you know, they okay everything, like, okay, everything looks all well and good. Go over and yeah, you know, get called over to this different section, because there's this long line, and it's just basically whoever comes back to the tag first. So I get called over there, and they're like, oh, look, we got these new fancy machines, and I'm looking around, there's like one little section of like 40-something sections of the place. So we're talking about 1 in 40 odds of getting that one specific place. Could have come a couple minutes sooner, could have come a couple minutes later. Could have just had a cup of water during the day, and it would have avoided this situation. So I get over there, and at this point I'm kind of annoyed at the place, because previously they had, like, denied one thing or another for really dumb reasons. Like, there was literally a running joke of, like, what did I do to piss them off? Because it seems like I'm having more problems than anyone else that goes there. So anyway, you know, like, okay. A bunch of oddly specific crap later. It's like 3 weeks of either delays or just them, you know, having weird stuff. So I get back there, and they're like, oh, this new fancy machine is going to speed everything up. It's really good. You know, saves all this time. There's another lady there. You know, she's all happy with it. You get like little numbers that tick up to tell you how fast everything's going. She's like, oh man, this took like 20 minutes off my time. It's great. I'm like, okay, you know, fair enough. You know, this is typically just the sitting and watching YouTube time, but whatever. And so yeah, they started up, and I see 2 people get led away, looking pretty upset, and the thing just stops, like stops a few minutes in. So they're looking over, and I'm just sitting there with my arm hooked up to this machine. There's like 4 people pouring through manuals. I'm like, oh well, the thing has decided that everything's disconnected somehow, so we're gonna have to let you go for the day. So they're basically telling me, like, okay, you have to leave. You can't come back for 2 days. You also don't get anything for coming here, because it's like just under the number that was needed. So you basically, yeah, you went through all this crap, waited for 2 hours and everything else. We refuse to even give you your $20. Like, really? Like, why? It's just under the number. Why you gotta be like this? So yeah, I was like, man, that's a new one. That's a new one. They get these fancy new machines, get kicked out for it. Ah, well, such is life. Alright, so, what are we doing here? Is this fight still ongoing? Because it seems to be. It's actually holding up kind of well. Nope. Alright, so yeah, OB64 team, down to 6 members. No one in the GOT team has gone down at all. Man. I mean, at least one of them is confirmed to have gone down. Anyway. We're not going down that road either. So, alright. And they're still cursing. Yeah, gotta say, Melisandre is good for distraction, which I guess is fitting story-wise. I almost want to say Game of Thrones versus X Division might be interesting, just because I think they're the 2, well, they're 2 of the highest number of things, but I'm kind of curious to see how the X Div team would do with all these curses. But still, Secret of Mana versus Chrono Trigger is next, so we'll do that at that point. Oof. Yeah, he's getting beat down real good. Taking that beating. Alright. Okay, Aznabel lost his grip on the wheel. Good. Probably get a taxi next time. Would be kind of concerned to see that guy behind the wheel, to be honest. Yeah. Let's just say Aznabel's got baggage. We're just gonna go with baggage. It's fine. More you know what? Coffee with espresso beans. Why not? So can you drive with a helmet on? Probably. Seems really uncomfortable, but probably could. I mean, motorcyclists do it all the time. And weirdly enough, they've got a way better survival rate than those that don't, so can't be that bad. I mean, pilots wear helmets. Guess it all depends on the helmet. Though, funny story, I guess more tragic than funny. So for anyone that's lived in New Mexico before, again, to clarify, since apparently some folks don't know the difference, New Mexico is the state, Mexico is the country. Anyway, I just noticed that the chat is a little bit jacked up. Let's adjust that slightly. let's move that over here. There we go. So I'm like, no, chat, stop. There we go. Okay, there we go. It's better, slightly. Okay, perfect. Ish. Yeah, for some reason, if you tap the button too many times, it'll just like keep traveling in that direction. It's weird. Yeah, let's move it slightly left. That seems about right. All right. Anywho, let's see. Seems like it would limit your vision. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It does limit your vision, but it's not I mean, it's not necessarily crippling, depending on the situation, I suppose. Could be worse. Can't imagine it being too much worse, but I mean, like I said, motorcyclists do it all the time. Anyway, so a story about New Mexico, right? And I only mentioned the clarification thing. Oh, well, thank you for the follow there, Heaven's Fury. Wait a minute, why did the thingy not go off? Maybe it's taking a second to follow. Maybe it's taking a second. It usually gives that whole big, like, bro, they're followed! Alerts are slow sometimes. Yeah, pretty much all the UI elements have been exploded. Anyway, thank you so much. Appreciate it. But yeah, so yeah, finishing up the story about New Mexico, because yeah, I had an ID from New Mexico for a while, and I kid you not, at the airport, we're like, oh man, we don't take Mexican IDs and like move your thumb, it's over the new. It's like, no, this is a Mexican. No, sir, New Mexico is a state. It's over by Arizona. And yeah, the guy actually had to call down a supervisor and get yelled at by a supervisor. It's like, no, idiot, it's a state. It's a place in the... It's a part of the states, man. Anyway, besides the point. So, as far as I was saying, as far as tragic stories and helmets go, like, there's this thing over there. There we go. Now I mentioned it. Took a while for the dancing zombie to show up. Apparently, there has to be 12 people subscribed before I can replace that zombie with, like, I don't know, like... I was hoping to replace it with, like, Shahara or something. Or just one of the other gifts that shows up in the top right. Maybe replace it with Lambs or some such. But yeah, by the way, Heaven's Fury, if any of the above, the green ones there, if you want to see a fight between them, feel free to call it out. So the next one is Secret of Manitou versus Chrono Trigger. But yeah, pretty much anything that's on the green is completely fair game. But yeah, so the thing in New Mexico there, for some reason, there's seemingly hundreds of people with motorcycles that refuse to wear any kind of protection whatsoever. Now we're talking about a place that gets a ton of sand on the roads. There has a ton of weird drivers. There's a ton of just like random dead animals or whatever else. But people think like, oh yeah, no, I'll be perfectly fine. I'll be that 1% that doesn't crash ever. And I only say 1% because there's not a single day that went by there that there wasn't a story of somebody getting run over. And yeah, like you would rarely ever see any kind of protection on them. So yeah, the thing is, as far as motorcycle protection goes, like the helmet and the jacket and everything else, those provide way better armor than you think. Like even like the pads with jeans and everything else, because it's usually not the impact that directly does it. Usually it's because somebody goes flying and they get scraped across the road for a while. And yeah, so pretty much it's either somebody gets their friggin' limb scraped off, or you know, they wear a nice cool jacket. I mean, usually you'd think, hey, if you can afford the motorcycle, you might as well get the jacket. Kind of better than literally getting scraped into paste. But yeah, somehow, despite that being a regular thing, like you rarely ever saw that stuff over there. It's kind of definitely on the tragic end. But yeah, so yeah, Chrono Trigger versus Secret of Mana should be a pretty good fight. As I was mentioning earlier, like this is mostly just for the sake of fun. It's not necessarily going to be like everything is 100% accurate, but I gave them as many of the abilities that they already have as I could. So we'll see how this all goes. Like right now, Game of Thrones is pretty handily beating OB64. I already gave them their loss, which is what that yellow mark is. So it's double elimination. If they lose after they've already gotten a yellow mark, they're taken out of the tournament. If they don't, then they don't. So, okay, I don't know why he didn't decide to use his move right there. Looks like he was targeting Pumpkin Pie, but he decided not to use it. Oh well. Yeah, Bronze going in to go finish the job here. As you do, as you do. Just, yeah, they're a pretty solid team, I'd say. They turn out better than you'd expect, considering they don't have any kind of magical abilities aside from Melisandre. They don't have any fancy weapon skills, they don't have any of that. They know how to parry, they know how to overpower, but they don't know how to use any of those fancy kill moves or anything. As you do, as you do. Alright. So what else do we got here? What else do we have? Yeah, I don't know why. For some reason, part of the little spreadsheet thing disappeared for a moment. We should probably do Dark Souls versus Sekiro, too. That could be interesting. Feels like a grudge match. Though, I'm pretty sure the Dark Souls one would win that one. We'll see. We'll see. Like, Sekiro is one of those fancier ones, I feel. One of the weirder teams that probably won't use a lot of their abilities. Just because the AI has no idea how to use the grapple bracer, so it's mostly there for flavor. Alright. Just how bad are their odds right now? Yeah, they've got... they've got Yumel and they've got Hugo still standing. Oh man, the two weakest. Oh no. Yeah, Hugo's knowledge of bridges has kept him alive this long. He believes in the power of the bridges. I don't know what ability they keep trying to target and not using there. Like, quick, let me heal you with this little bridge plant. But it's a mend leaf. No, it's a bridge plant now. There's nothing that has not originally come from a bridge. I'm still tempted to actually make that into a t-shirt. Would anybody be interested in that as a t-shirt? Because I already have that like 90% of the way done. Like, it's more just for the sake of I haven't seen that stuff anywhere else, but there's so many decent memes from the series that would make decent shirts. Actually, one thing that came to mind a little while ago is, like, you know the double rainbow guy? You just have, like, that with two bridges and just Hugo standing there just struck in awe. It's so beautiful, there's more than one bridge! What does it even mean? Probably means you made it to LA, but... oh well. And one-shotted by the dragon. Alright, there we go. So yeah, like I said, that battle was lost a long time ago. So they've already taken their loss, that's why they're marked as yellow. So next we've got Secret of Mana versus Chrono Trigger. Disregard the fact that it's marked as Chrono Cross, they didn't make it. In fact, I should probably go over that team first. There we go. For some reason I was mixing up Trigger and Cross, because that naming convention isn't confusing. So we've got Chrono here as a lord with the Fulgor, just basic kind of lightning sword there. Lightning get up, as it were. He's got lightning magic, he's got weapon skills, because they do use, they are shown using some weapon skills in the game. Augment lightning and all that kind of thing. It's still Storm for his buffs, Draconic-wise. It's for the sake of Aura Blast. So, just kind of an extra thing for him, because he had that, but it doesn't technically scale off lightning, so Thunder Flare will probably end up doing a little bit more for him. For Marley, or Marl, whatever you want to say, we've got the crossbow, the dress, the fancy pants, because you can't not have the baggy pants on her. The Reaver Ring, all of which, thankfully, have decent stats now. Skill-wise, we got Divine, Ice, Crossbows, Clarity, and Efficacy, so she can keep spamming those. For Frog, we've got Swords, Parry, Overpower, and Augment Water. We've got the Ice, or rather the Water Sword here, just because it gives him his one of his breath moves. As well as Grapple here. They don't really know how to use it, but, you know, it just felt fitting because he's got that Grapple move. Champion's Earring to make him even better with swords than he already was. Luca here with a hammer and a pistol, as well as some other stuff here. Was a little bit harder to transfer what she does, but I feel like her skills transferred okay-ish. For Robo here, he's probably the one that kind of sticks out the most for not matching, because he's a pretty standard golem, but, you know, it's close enough. It's close enough. For Isla here, we got fists, fire, all the kinds of things you'd expect. And so yeah, she'll just end up hitting harder and harder as the match progresses. Then we've got Magus here as an Astromancer. There we go. Magic-y stuff, skilly stuff, and alright, away we go. Also, he's got Herpeology, because, you know, he should have some skills from fighting Frog. we got Chrono Cross, and then we've got... what am I fighting them against? Secret Mana 2? Alright. So, I think I already went over... No, I didn't go over these yet, because they haven't fought yet. Alright. So these ones actually showed off in the pre-tournament stream here. They actually carried over pretty darn well. They pretty much all got... They're like a mix of all their different promotions that they can get. I'm not going to go over into all of them, because there's a lot of little details here, some of which I guarantee you I forgot. But there we go. I'm just going to show you their equipment real quick. Like, for example, the Zero Mus here. Heaven's Tear is supposed to be that ultimate... what's it, that ultimate move he gets at the very end? That he can spam every few turns? That kind of stuff. So, there we go. Yeah, she's got all of her spells almost 1-to-1. Some of them she can't directly use, but they're just on her list just because. And there we are. I wasn't going to give him something different than the Mordred song, but these were the kind of like the darker knives, and they also scaled up very well against human characters. So okay, there we go. And yeah, by the way, if you're wondering why she has Gnome, it looks very similar to Jormungand, I feel. It doesn't quite poison, but it'll work. Alright, let's go ahead and get this thing going then. So, despite the fact that Secret Mana 2's score is way lower, I'm going to place my bets on them. Because I just have a feeling that they've got a lot more kind of just recovery and power moves. But again, just like every other time, this can go either way. A large part of the score comes from the fact that golems count a lot for score. Let me go ahead and make sure everything's automated. Yep. Okay. So we're good to go, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, and back once more. I think I just left her on that dang stutter screen again, didn't I? Sorry. I know, being a bad host. Alright, has anyone got any bets on this one yet? I think that one right there is the only one that kind of sticks out in terms of not a skill that anybody would really have, because it's not really something that would come up in any other game. So yeah, the Ogre armor has the unique effect of making somebody too scared to receive healing. Which, yeah, that's a thing that's that's basically perfect for what's it? What is it? Darkest Dungeon. Like it's basically just a random Darkest Dungeon ability that's just there. It's not new to the mod or anything. It's just just something that was always kind of there and out of place, and who knows why? Who knows why? Like, by that point in the game, you'd never, ever, ever need that ability. So, who knows? I think they just wanted something unique. But, oh well. Come to think of it, it would have been interesting to make a Darkest Dungeon team. Like, what would that even consist of? Because, like, obviously, you'd have to have the knight with the ogre armor. Actually, can the knight even use the ogre armor? I'm not sure. Maybe. Like, the knight would have to be like a Saleh, the ogre armor, and probably like not the Sigmund, but maybe like the Desert Blade or something like that. Give him some. Actually, probably make him a paladin. Give him the holy set, like some of the casting abilities, like some of the healing and whatever. I mean, actually no, he's got Aegis. That's pretty similar to that flag move. So I'd say Aegis is pretty similar to that. For the Highwaymen, you'd probably have to go Buccaneer. I guess the generic Buccaneer, you know, pretty much does that kind of thing. See, Tactics Ogre with a stress or panic meter would be disastrous but fun. It would be. It would be. Like, I'd play that. I can't lie, I'd 100% play that. It sounds amazing. I want it. By the way, sorry, I was just correcting one tiny UI thing I just noticed. Because over on the top right, there was a tiny little white line because I didn't give borders to that last set of boxes. Ah, man. See, the funny part is, as much as the stress or panic type stuff, like, it really depends on when it works out well. Like, I think probably my favorite version of that so far has been it's probably been a tie between Darkest Dungeon and what X Division did with it. Because, like, in that one, what they did, it was the same old, like, original kind of formula for, like, XCOM Panic and all that kind of thing. But what they did, they took away friendly fire. And they basically added a thing where, instead of recovering over time, it was specifically based off what happened to them and what they achieved. So, like, if a character sits there and they're like, just like gunning down all these lizard men, whatever else, like, they will feel like a god. They will, like, it literally just goes up to like 99 plus. It's all it says, because their morale is just that high, and then, you know, like, they're just there being awesome. And, like, say they're several rooms away, and there's another fight that's not going as well, and their morale ends up dropping, like, you know, like crazy, because, you know, they're dropping people left and right. You know, the last few are panicking and thinking about running, and so, in that case, yeah, like, you can understand why they're panicking. If they get attacked, and say they're hiding behind a shield, you know, maybe they'll get suppressed, they'll kneel down, they'll be a bit scared of it, but they won't outright panic, as if, you know, they had gotten hit or something like that. Which was one of the issues I remember in Vanilla, because they would basically hold up a shield. A shot would come by, it would block off the shield, and they're like, "Oh my god, I got hurt!" It was weird. Let's see, Darkest Dungeon seems to have toned the stress thing down since the early access, or maybe have gotten better. Hard to tell. Hard to tell. I mean, I still play it on the beat every now and then. It still seems pretty well there. I think it might have just gotten better. Then again, I don't remember the early access. That could also be part of it. But I mean, there's definitely people, like, I saw a run a little while ago, I think it was Join Rebs that was doing it, in which he had actually gone through and it was like, I think it was like pitch black only, no stress recovery, no camping, whatever, and he still managed to do it. So there's ways and means. And for anyone that's new that's stopping by here, if you're wondering what's going on with the multiple skill rank ups, this is set up to have, I think it's like 50 times skill points. So every time that they use a skill, they get a rank up in it. Up to rank 8 to 12, depending on what their innate bonuses are at the time. So this means that potentially, with somebody with +4 parry, they get all the way up to rank 12, meaning that they've got a 60% chance of just completely ignore any melee damage. So that's always nice. Alright. But yeah, Darkest Dungeon is one of those games that you never want to rename the characters after people you know. Like there was this one time, I was playing it for the first time, and everything was going real well. And so there was a cleric, my top cleric that I named after my wife, and there was a top highwayman that I named after myself. And, like, they were just part of the A-team there, and everything was going great. You know, I had no complaints. They had found some overpowered items and everything. It was all going well, and then the bird happened. Like, I don't know if you've played it recently, but the dang bird, man. So yeah, we both got eaten by the bird. On 2 separate occasions. Like, it's just basically this bird that constantly harasses your place, and you just get a mission that says, like, you can't do anything else until you go fight this freaking bird. And so this guy shows up. He ends up just eating your characters, pretty much. And yeah, it's just a boss fight. There's no lead up to it. There's no anything else. It's just bird time. And if you don't beat him within a certain amount of time, he'll just have this like super move he does at the very end and just like swipe away everybody. And yeah, more often than not, that will end up killing one of your characters, just because it's kind of random. I think it's kind of random when he does it. Like, I think you have like maybe 5 rounds or something to finish him, which is pretty. It's kind of a tall order for a good long while, but you got to do it because it prevents you from doing anything else. It's been a few months since I played. Almost played a few days ago. Then I also hate birds. That bird is such a douche. It's such a douche. And yeah, what's cool about that game though is that they have a mechanic where you can actually you can revive dead characters, but only a very rare chance to do so. So I think there have been like 3 revives, and I keep looking for that one that lets me bring my wife back there. It's just like, no, they're way too down on the kill list, I guess. Let's see. Love birdmen, like griffins, hate birds. Alright, fair enough. Why not? Why not? Alright, how are we doing here? Because Kevin seems to be doing amazing for a berserker. Alright, we've got 3 down on the Secret Mana team. We've got 2, possibly more down on that team. So yeah, 3v5 right now. Both looking in kind of about the same condition, so we'll see how this goes. Like, I feel like Secret Mana 2 definitely has the stronger set of abilities, but we'll see. We'll see. Should get a Resurrection Stone like in Harry Potter. Well, you can do that in this too, kind of. Oh, the base game version anyway. Oh no! Okay, I'll come fix it. Hang on. One moment, please. Little lady has commanded me to fix her iPad. I must do so. She's not feeling well. Alright, not sure if there's music coming through, but alright. Let me know. There's like a TV right here going on. I think I got the volume just right to hopefully not come through here, but be all good over there. Because we gotta have that chilling out in the living room type situation. Yeah, apparently, because we've had the most absurd couple months for everybody getting sick, we've got yet another GI bug going around now. So we had we had a GI bug, and then we had a sinus flu that went around, and then we got a follow-up on that sinus flu, and then the kiddos got sick again with some kind of other cold. Then apparently we got another GI bug now. So hopefully all of this weather changing between hot and cold crap is done, because, man, this is getting a bit ridiculous with how many diseases keep coming up all the time. Hello there, Mr. Pro Cow. So, just so you know, oh, can't hear anything in the background? Awesome! I got the volume right. I feel like a smartness. So, Mr. Cow, just so you know, anything that is in green can fight anything else that's in green. Currently, we're doing Secret of Mana 2 versus Chrono Trigger. So, yeah, let's take a look at the score here. We've got one left, just Mr. Duran, although, oh yeah, no. He'd have to pull off some stuff to be able to pull that off. Yeah. I think Secret of Mana might be taking their first loss here. Wait, didn't they fight before? I don't know. I don't think so. Oh well. We'll see how it goes. I mean, they're definitely one of the stronger teams, but it's one of those things they don't have a lot of recovery options. They've got some of the stronger moves in the game, though. Sleepyhead. Well, people gotta sleep, it turns out. Unlike every single business environment in the world seems to want to tell you. I gotta say, office life is kind of bullcrap. Like, especially if you get, like, one of those cases where, like, you're expected to do, like, they're like, okay, do all this paperwork stuff, do all the sales stuff all day. Okay, well, it's nighttime. Well, technically, you can't go call anyone. Go do paperwork. It's like, dude, just, how about sleeping or... No, there's time for all that later. Like, no, how about sleep, though? Like, no, just drink more coffee. Yeah, that work environment sucked. Sleep at work or watch potato? Well, I appreciate being considered a form of sleep. Glad to assist people in sleeping anytime. Alright, wow, that's that Palpian reel isn't working out so hot for you there, buddy. So yeah, Palpian scales pretty well as far as getting extra damage off of light stuff. It's actually the one that I ended up giving to Delita and Weegraf over on the FFT team. As far as, you know, trying to convince their AI to go use it more. So it basically functions very similarly to Stasis Blade, except it's one tile range but guaranteed stop. Let's see, sleep and watch a lot. Well, sleeping and watching is good. Makes good stuff happen. Oh, by the way, a random question, and yeah. Alright, so Secret of Mana definitely lost that one hard. Seemed like they had it in the bag early on, but oh well. Let's see how it goes. So that's that one. What was the next one? Somebody requested one, I think. So what are we doing next? But yeah, no, there was somebody that told me if you set up, like, if you go for like an Amazon Prime trial, you get a subscription. I don't actually know if that's true. I don't know. I think it's !Amazon. If anybody doesn't have it and for some reason was looking for it or wanted to try for some reason. Anywho, let me know what fights you want to see. So basically, anyone in green versus anyone else in green, and/or I will roll a random one here. So the random one would be Wild Arms versus Radiant Historia, who I think is 1-1, right? Yes. Let me know. Amazon Prime Twitch sub? Okay. Yeah, I don't know if that counts as, like, if the free trial counts for allowing that or something. No idea. I keep looking at that thing and thinking, like, there must be some way to just, like, use the whole affiliate thing to technically make it free for people, but still allow it to count as a sub. Works with Prime Trials too, apparently? Oh, okay, well, Amazon, if you want to try it, I guess. It's like 3 little shiny emote things. Because I'm supposed to market it, apparently. Except, I kind of just want to do the video things here. Alright, so, what are we doing here? What was it? Who was it? Wild Arms vs. Radiant Historia? Sounds good? Yes? No? I will assume so. There we go, there's Wild Arms. So, here's the deal with their team. I got Rudy here. Now, I know he uses like a sword and gun, right? But or just the sword. The gun's supposed to be a special move. But looking at his skill list, it seemed like giving him a gun plus grenades seemed to be the better choice. The way that I have him set up here, with just Field Alchemy and Fusils, for whatever reason, having just those two skills seemed to make him really, really prone to using grenades a lot. Couldn't tell you why, but he seems to like using them. So, seemed pretty fitting right there. He's got Snipe Racers to give him a stun on his cannon shot. Over here we got Garrett with the Golok. So yeah, he's got like a lightning move off of that. Oh, well, thank you. You want more? More? Okay. I will set up this fight, and then I have to go get Little Lady more to drink. So, preempt, counter hit, all that kind of thing. Just kind of going over these real quick. He's got Tornado. Moving on here, we got Cecilia. All this kind of stuff. Lots of air, divine, and water. Magic-y type stuff. Oh yeah, and fire too. Got all these abilities right here. Some of them are in here just for flavor. Those are the grayed out ones. Got Hampan here, who technically doesn't really do very much, but they're just kind of there to support Garrett. They're there for morale. We've got Ashley the Buccaneer because the Longhorn is actually named after his Longhorn in his game. So we've got that right here. Same thing for getting stun on his hits. But yeah, the Buccaneer is the only one that can actually use it. He's actually got two-handed sword skills for the sake of being able to use it. Or for being able to use that shoot ability on it. Got Brad over here. Now, you may be wondering if you played that game before, Brad is a rocket launcher guy. So, there aren't any rocket launchers. However, I made this guy a really high fire augmented warlock. So, he's basically got about as high intelligence score as he can get, along with Spark Sphere 4, Salamander 2, and Supernova, which you can't technically use, but that was an earlier build. Don't worry about it. So yeah, we got Augment Fire, Fire Magic, Clarity 4, Efficacy 3. He can't be silenced, and he's got Field Alchemy, so he should use bombs the rest of the time because they've got an innate item throw. And then over here we've, or at least I think that one does. And then over here we've got Kanon the Kunaichi with her weird arm thing for the Ripper. Got a dagger, got a cloak, but she's also supposed to be really fast, so we've got that on there as well. And then magic-y type stuff, we've got Shadowbind and Escalade, because those were also on her skill list, so there we go. And then the other one's Radiant Historia, which we've already gone over, so we'll just leave those to fight it out. Or Radiant Historia here, because reasons. Alright. Wait, did I go over these? I think I did. Anyway, if you didn't see them before, there we go, there's the builds. Alright, so let's leave them to it. They've got pretty similar scores here. Let's make sure that this thing is showing that they're fighting. Where is it? There we go. There we go, they're all highlighted and everything. So they're going to fight in the tar pits because this is about the closest to a desert that there is in the map selection. And alright, so I will be right back. So see you in just a little bit. Alright, and back for just a little bit. So how are we doing here? Looks like we're just getting into the actual fighting. Alright, I'd figure the Wild Arms team probably has a little bit of an advantage here. Funny part is, it would be the exact opposite if it was people playing, because they'd be stuck in the tar. The other ones would have some cover, but in this case, due to the AI not having a whole lot of options to deal with cover, and also the fact that there aren't very many archers in this competition, that cover just becomes a choke point instead. So we'll see how this goes. Overall, that evasion would make a big, or rather, the accuracy difference on those tar tiles would make a difference, but it probably won't in this case. Yeah, that lag from that ability though. So ProCow, I'm assuming you're rooting for the Wild Arms team then? How far off were they? How bad did I do? Because I was specifically told to use the one-handed katana skill set on him. Apparently, it's pretty similar to some of the moves he can do. Comparing the two, I guess I can kind of see that. But yeah, they should hopefully have some similar movesets. But yeah, the little fairy just goes around slapping stuff to silence them for the most part, and just serving as a general distraction. They're supposed to be like the little mouse thing, so why not? Seems to work. Now, if you're wondering why he doesn't shoot with a gunblade, by the way, it takes 50 TP to fire. So it'll be a minute before you can do that. A minute or so. Yeah, Consecrate Edge. Not really much else he's going to be able to do from over there. Oh, no, he's got the Liberate. Okay, there we go. He's got recovery moves. Like, I'd figure the Radiant Historia team has the offensive edge, but they definitely don't have the defensive edge at all. Like, overall, I'd say I think Wild Arms can do it, because they've just got a lot more. The AI is just a lot more likely to put out the kinds of stuff that they need. Like right there, the big AOE's. She's got a lot of those. Oh, all right. I think she's going for the conviction here, right? Why is it not automating? Or no, right, the whim. I forgot I forgot that she has whim. Right. And back to the fight. Although then again, they've got the rifle check. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. So what do you guys want to see after this? Since I think the fairy just got taken out. Not that they're really doing much besides being distracting. Also, yeah, the fairy screams like a guy, because that used to be a guy. It's fine, don't question it. It's perfectly normal, I don't know what you're talking about. Because, yeah, I kind of want to see Xenonauts versus Game of Thrones, personally, but yeah. All options are on the table. All requests are fair game. And all that kind of stuff. So, like, right there, there's why you want to have him using grenades. He's doing a pretty good job with them. And unlike base game, in which all the shot items just basically like flew out, and they're like, okay, we did 20 damage, but the damage can never be fatal. Even at 1 health, it would just do 0 damage. I don't know why they decided to do it that way. Like, it must have just been because they were looking at throwing rocks, and they're like, well, they can still maybe do 2 damage. So I guess they decided that they wanted an item that would always keep them above 1. I'll never understand it. I'll never understand it, because the shots, like, they weren't exactly good enough to justify that kind of thing, is the thing. Like, I don't believe they actually had debuffs on them. They were an AoE move, so they weren't meant to be targeting multiple things. Or rather, they weren't meant to be targeting just one. They didn't do very much, but then they also were non-fatal. So... I don't know. Alright, he's got Paranoia. Lots of dudes with Paranoia for some reason. Such is life, it seems. He's going for the Sonic Blade instead of the shoot. That's fine. Yeah, those traps might come into play, though. Bam! Look at that breach, too. That breach. Oof, that heal. Oh. She's gonna go ahead and charm that one. Which technically, I don't think that was actually in her move pool. But whatever, it's fine. Yeah, I think a lot of the item, or a lot of the use items aren't holding their debuff long enough. Also, I will be right back. Just a moment. Back once more. I left it on the starter menu. Why? Because I'm dumb, that's why. Alright, so they're gonna whim. They got rid of all that 200 TP though from using that. Because I think they had a quicken move is why I allowed them to keep that. Normally I would have not allowed them to use it because the AI is too dumb to realize that it has a downside. Such is life though, such is life. And it's still going on with those grenades. As you do. Oh, she's got silenced. Alright. Fair enough. Miss. Oof. Just got ruined. Why did she take that extra... She have a... Yeah, she has a Gucci lane. That's why. Now let's look at the score here. So we got Rainy, Marco, Erica, and Roche still standing. Meanwhile, on the other end, we also have 4 still standing. So we got Rudy, Ashley, Brad, and Cannon. They're still up. So we mostly got, like, the main story characters that got KO'd immediately. Neato. Didn't actually see if he used the book's teleportability at any point. There we go. See, there's proof that they know how to use the gunblade. But sometimes it's just the more solid choice, so the AI will go for it. Should have a gunblade only tournament. Like everybody has to have a gun build, but then the gun blades can technically also still function. Hey, he's coming in. Whoa, what? Okay, that was bugged. That was really bugged. For some reason, this salamander just flew up in that. But again, you'll see rare bugs in this game. That's how that goes. It's not even a mod thing. You'd see that in base game too. It's amazing how far this game gets before before randomly having bugs. Like honestly, it's far less than you'd expect. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a Squeenix thing as polished as this, despite some of the imbalances and whatever else in vanilla. Despite some of the weird choices, it's like it still feels like a lot of those choices were made for a reason. They just were never accounted for with the US version. So yeah, I don't know. Like, all in all, other than the attacks randomly disappearing bug, which is like, I'd say 1 in 100,000 maybe. It's pretty rare. Sometimes the AI will target stuff and decide not to. That's probably just some random script that tells them not to, take a certain action at a certain time. Or if there's just an ability that there's no way for the AI to understand how to use, like, for example, something like countering Condemn, or... Which, again, it's weird that skill was even in there. Because Condemn is one of those things that only one boss in the game can even use, so there's really no reason to have an ability that gets rid of it. Because why would you? Oh well. Let's see. How's the score looking right now? Yeah, 3-3? Yeah, this one's pretty solid. I like it. It's coming down to the wire. And Marco over there providing all that help. Right, there goes Ashley. No, come back. We need your gunblade. Right. Is this going to be enough, though? Okay, so we got... Okay, they got Blunder. I kind of wish Blunderbuss would fire twice, to be honest. But that's more of a personal thing. Come on, crit. Oh no! Oh man, if that was an actual like, if it was like in Venom plus damage, that would have killed him. But yeah, no, he basically just he crit him back into a healing trap. That's amazing. Sometimes, man, sometimes the AI just, it's something else. I can't even tell who's on what team right now because it's been so long since I've played either of these games. All right, yeah, no. Yeah, no. Looks like Radiant's got this one. Regardless of that really interesting move right there. So he's actually punching him with the Power Fist, and it's combining with Bash to throw him backwards. Doesn't actually have a knockback on it. It's got stun, but I believe he's stun-proof because he's a robot. Partial spoilers, I think. Actually, apparently that's spoilers for the remake. Apparently in the original he wasn't directly said to be a robot, and then they remade it and they're like, no, our main character's a robot. Ah. So that was kind of surprising to find out. Anywho. Yeah, Historia took that one. So that is, what's it? Where are you here? Yeah, that's Wild Arms with a loss. Alright. So do we want to do Sekiro vs. Dark Souls, or what? What do we do next? Because I kind of want to do Game of Thrones vs. Xenonauts, kind of want to do Dark Souls vs. Sekiro. Who else haven't we seen yet? We haven't seen Live a Live yet, we haven't seen... no, we have seen Night of Lodis. Or have we? I can't remember if we've seen Night of Lodis. We haven't seen Ease, we haven't seen Chrono Trigger. Yeah, we have seen Chrono Trigger, what am I talking about? We haven't seen Arcadia. We haven't seen FF8. Like, it's amazing. Second stream in now, we still haven't even seen some of the teams. Why did I make a double elimination again? Alright. So we'll say... Okay, so Sekiro. So yeah, we got Sekiro here. As far as the fact that he's got multiple weapons, I decided to go with... he's got the cloak because he's got his evasion type stuff. He's got his grapple bracer because, of course. He's got the crest of fire because he is immune to all debuffs and has, basically has the quote-unquote divine power, divine dragon powers. So considering it's a, divine dragon jewel, sure. You got the Angle Moa to symbolize the Mortal Blade. And so it gets up partway through the game, but whatever. Just because once again it's supposed to be a sword that was sealed away and supposedly never comes out of its scabbard. So we'll ignore the fact that he hits people with a scabbard instead of just pulling the thing out. But it seemed pretty fitting. He's got his fancy katana skills because he's gonna get all of those. Deflect, Overpower, Steel Stance Blade, Focus Preempt, all that kind of thing. Reflects everything because reflecting stuff is kind of his character. Tactician and Jump because he jumps like crazy and he's probably building up TP like crazy. Got Owl for all his kind of stuff here with all his evading and stabbing and everything else. Gave him the main gauche because A, he's really evasive, and B, he apparently likes hiding daggers. All this kind of stuff right here. So we got all that kind of goodness. Next we've got Emma here, which, by the way, spoilers if you didn't know that happens in some circumstances. But yeah, Sonic Blade, generally a big old parry and defend kind of build, seems fitting. Spirit Blade for Kuro, because he actually, I like to think that he held on to the sword he gives him at the very start. And once again, he's got the divine stuff, so he's not a very good fighter, he's just kind of here. We got Tengu for a similar type build to Emma here. And then Genichiro, because of course, you gotta have him in here. So he's got the partial Ogre set here, as well as a bow and sword, and a Cloud Ring for levitating, because why not? And then over here we got the Sculptor with his flame stuff, which is totally unrelated to anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so possible spoilers on that if you happen to have specifically only gotten through like halfway through the game, I guess. Next we got Dark Souls, who I'm pretty sure will win this one. Hang on, who's messaging me here? Okay, so I'm gonna have to be right back again in just a moment. But without going too much into their builds, because they should be pretty self-evident, Artorias, Gwyn, Ornstein Smo, Go, Hawkeye Go, with his accuracy and his throwing rock. Gwendolyn, Giant Dad, because you gotta have Giant Dad in there. The Capra, Sanctuary, and Iron Golem, and the Gaping Dragon. So, there we go. It was specifically the bosses that were requested for this one. So, there we go. We'll get this thing started. The teams should be fairer than they seem at first blush here, so we'll see how it goes, and I will be right back. Alrighty, and I'm back. So, sorry for missing your message there, Evan. So yeah, Radiant Historia ended up winning that one pretty well, I'd say. Actually, come to think of it, I have that thing marked as the wrong color, don't I? There we go. There we go. They didn't lose so hard they became a different shade of yellow. Actually, didn't lose that hard. It was pretty close up until right at the very end there. Then it started shifting pretty strongly. Like, I still think Breath of Fire 3 got unfortunately screwed because I overlooked that one missing healing ability on Nina. It's not the end of the world. Like, she ends up spending a lot of the time doing crazy amounts of damage instead, so arguably that's more useful. But still, you know, kind of unfortunate that happened. Like, that'll happen. It'll happen. Bear in mind, there were a lot of teams, and I was usually putting most of these together while half asleep, so there's also that. Because, yeah, most of the rest of the time is spent working or changing diapers, so such is life. Anywho, any other requests that we want to see for the next one? Since I'm assuming Dark Souls is winning pretty hard here. Actually, no, I'm seeing some Dark Souls characters down. Okay, we lost Gwendolyn, lost Go, lost Sanctuary. Okay, Capra's almost down. Yeah, the 4 knights are holding up great though. Or the 3 knights and actually, yeah, one of the knights is gone. Iron Golem's right there. So 3 of the knights anyway. So yeah, Sekiro's down, Owl's down, Emma's holding up, Genichiro and yeah, kind of surprised Sculptor didn't go down yet. All right, whatever. Now, what do you guys think? Like, in reality, between these two, FF8 and Live Live, you got it. So between these two, what do you think? Like, realistically, like all of Dark Souls versus Sekiro. Let's say Dark Souls 1, because all 3 of them just on sheer numbers would be ridiculous. Because personally, I think, like, regardless of all the fancy skills and whatever else in the Sekiro, honestly, I just don't think they have a chance against all that armor. Is the thing. Like, they specifically even have a boss that's just a clunky beast lord in armor in Sekiro. And even at that point, it's shown like, yeah, no matter how hard you hit this guy without the right stuff, you cannot get through that armor. So ultimately, the way to actually beat him is to knock him off the bridge, or I believe if you have the spear, you can rip off plates one by one. But yeah, personally, I just think that, yeah, like, eventually, just statistically, one is more likely than the other. Just because in a direct fight, yeah, I'm pretty sure the sneaky folks are gonna lose, but even then. See, never played either game. Prefer my controllers intact. It's not as bad as all that. Like, it's really not as bad as some folks like to make it. Like, I think it was more just when it came out, everybody wanted to be, you know, like the cool kid. Like, oh man, it was so hardcore, you guys, I totally beat it. But it's really not that bad. Like, especially, well, the same rule applies to all of it. That it's just pattern recognition. You learn the thing, you do the inputs, and eventually you just kind of feel it out. Like, it's been said several times with Dark Souls, just like with the series in a nutshell. It's like, as soon as you get used to it, you just kind of push your way through it, you know? You just can do it effortlessly. So it ends up looking real good, of course, but it isn't necessarily as hard as it looks at that point. Alright, so, FF8 vs. Live Live coming right up. So, we've got time for maybe 1 or 2 more until I gotta finish up for the day. So, Live Live. Oh, hi there, Mr. Vale, checking in during another break. Who's winning? Many people's. So far, I think the most wins have gone to Game of Thrones. Because they've got 2 wins at this point, even though I expected them to have none. Alright, so, for Live Live, we have Akira here with his double punchy type stuff. We have Orsted here with a fairly decent kind of paladin type setup. Masaru here with the most punch damage in the entire thing, I believe. Pogo, you know, caveman with an axe, why not? Cube as a warden, showing off some of his skills here. Conveniently, a lot of the warden skills actually works pretty similarly to the kinds of stuff that he ends up using in game. Oboro the ninja with his stuff right here. He's got some healing, some shutdown moves, so that's why I was giving the Skull Mask. We got the Sun down here with his double shot ability on his gun. He's got booby traps, even though he technically can't use them as this class. Got his sharpshoot, his barricades, because again he's putting up traps the entire time. Otherwise, he's a bit of a glass cannon. And then Likugo here, who's meant to be the fast punchy sort, because they've got a lot of punchies on this team. Very little recovery though. Then aside from that, we are going with what was the other one? F8. Is that right up here? Yes, no, maybe so. Kinda. Looking for FF8, and there we go. So this one's actually remade since the last tournament, because gunblades weren't a thing last time. So double punchies on Zell here, pretty similar to that other one there. Renoa got remade with Shotgun and Buckler. Presumably still got that charm move on the dress. You know, why not? Everybody's got kind of a random selection of you know, magic abilities and that kind of thing, since in that game it's pretty random the kinds of stuff you can wind up with. Gave him the improved gunblade, as well as the dark coat is kind of functioning as their uniform, as it were. So he's pretty darn good with this thing. He's also got Glare and Evade, because that seems like the kind of stuff you could do in game. Quistis here, with this kind of setup, figured Inferno Ring was fitting, because she probably would have the ability to walk on lava. Adia here with all of her ice type stuff and teleporting and springboarding and all that kind of business. Generally an ice type mage character. Gave the Kumbira to Seaver because it also functions pretty similarly to the Gunblade in terms of having just like a shoot ability, except it's free in the case of this thing, just not as strong. Got the ability to warp because he gets that sometimes, and yeah, fancy robe otherwise. Got Irvine with a partial healing, partially just sniping setup, and Selfie here with a hammer, because that kind of thing, and she's got some buffs on her as well. So alright, let's go ahead and get this thing going. Their scores are very similar, their numbers are very similar. Let's see what happens. So yeah, this is probably going to be the last one, just looking at the time here, and just looking at what these characters can do. So, this is the map that was chosen for Live a Live. It's what's that fortress? I forget. The one that's over on that island on the right, I kind of forget at the moment. The reason that it was chosen is because it looks very similar to that peak once you start going into the final chapter of Live a Live. So it looks very similar to the peak. Seemed pretty fitting that they probably want to fight their way up there. Who knows if it'll actually give them an advantage of any kind. They don't seem like the sort to have much of a disadvantage here, because they technically have some direct fire abilities, but they don't really need to fire downwards at all. So, seems alright. The only thing is, this map gives them a very noticeable disadvantage when it comes to fighting any characters with bows, of which there's only 3 in the entire tournament. Them being Eleanor over on the Knight of Lodis team, Genichiro on the Sakura team, and Legolas over on the Lord of the Rings team. One of these archers is more than slightly better than the others. Perfect timing too, because that's the end of my coffee. Ah, that's some good coffee. Alright, so what kind of bets are we looking at here? Anyone got any bets yet? By the way, Mr. Vale, you got any requests on fights that you want to see? Since we're probably continuing this on tomorrow, in place of the usual Wednesday. So basically, anybody in green is fair game at the moment. We're going through all of them, through the winner's bracket, and then we'll be doing loser's bracket after that, and then we'll be doing the final of the winner of each one. So we'll see if some get left over, some that don't. We'll see. We will see. Alright, he goes with his healing ability. Sometimes, if they had a specific ability and it was so out of the way that only one weapon could give them that ability, I tended to just give them that weapon and give them one use of the thing at least. Let's see. Live Live has more variety, I think. They're my vote. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, they definitely punch real good. Getting a lot of punchy dudes. Alright, I don't know why he's going for Glare over Evade. I will say that for the Buccaneers going forward, I'm probably going to not leave that many with a Glare, because it seems like they prefer it over Evade, just for whatever reason. Who knows? Who knows? So, we'll see how it goes. Happily crunching on our Cheerios over there. See, not sure you have a good selection? Well, that's not an answer. I need an answer, sir. Yeah, that barricade will be useful there, Sundown. That'll really stop them. But yeah, I was figuring at some point there had to be March of the Black Queen versus Knight of Lodis, just for the sheer thing of Matsuno versus not Matsuno. Who knows? Alright, gotta have some more of this crunchy amazingness over here. Oh. I didn't actually check how many uses of healed Mass Immune actually has. Well, he's got a few at least. By the way, those crunches aren't coming through too loud, are they? Sorry, they're just really, really good. But they're so crunchy. Those tasty, tasty espresso beans. They're so good. Alright, I think FFA might get it. They did really well last time. Like, numerically they were, oh, can't hear any crunching. Oh, man. Free to crunch, you're saying. Alright, so we got Adia down. But aside from that, they seem to be holding up okay. Over on the Live team, yeah, they've got 3 characters that seem to have taken a good beating, but nothing yet. So you kind of want to see protagonists versus rivals in one of these AI fights. Destin, Ramza, Magnus, Denim versus Vice, Delita, Tristan, and Diomedes. Well, that can be arranged. It's just we'd have to probably make it from the very start of the game though, because yeah, that Denim ends up getting a ton of extra stats over the course of the game. Denim, that's old school. Yeah, you know what? It's like the kind of thing you need to wear a denim jacket for. Funnily enough, I have one of those. It wasn't mine. It was actually my brother's. I should totally wear a denim jacket for one of these. Oh yeah, you got Cheerios on your head? Well, there we go. Yeah, got just the thing for you, little kiddo. If I can just figure out where on earth I put it. There we go. There you go. There are your hands. See? All clean. All clean. Yeah. That's adorable. A 2-year-old that knows how hand sanitizer works. We're just saying the day, huh? Thunder Beast. Seems so fitting for some reason. I don't know why. I'm going for that petrification. Okay. I think he actually had the skull mask because one of his top items was a skull mask. Alright, Pogo coming in, taking out Irvine. Or just barely, he just barely holds on with 2 health. Oh! And he dodges again, oh man. He refuses to go down. Selfie will be upset. Anywho, no Tidal Boar, okay, poisoned though. So he's on a clock. Not anymore, he's not. Okay. Alright, I'm liking this back and forth. Seems like their team's holding it together real good, actually. Alright, alright. I forget why I allowed her to have traps. They're not really too overpowered, because the odds of anybody actually stepping on a trap intentionally, or for them to place traps intelligently is incredibly low, but I think it was there just in place of some of the casts you would normally have. Also, sorry for slapping the microphone there. Alright, time for a score check, I think. It's always hard to tell what's going on in the mosh pit. Alright, so we've got 7 still standing on the FFA team, we've got 3 still standing, one of which is disabled on the Live team. I think it's fair to call this one. Now campaign had blowed. Alright, he's getting somewhere with that though. And they've just taken out a ravine. So now it's 3 the what is it? 5? 6? Something like that. Something along them lines. But yeah, no. She's over there with those tidal waders, just keeping everybody healed up. Because that's basically just the full party heal, whatever the hell that move was. Poor Cube. He's got every debuff. It's like, just let me just go splat. There we go. He didn't get a crit, he just gave up. He's like, no, I'm done. I'm done. I've got like 6 debuffs on me. What do you want? What do you want from me? I'm just trying to be a little robot. Poor scared disabled pumpkin getting picked on. He was a pumpkin bot, thank you very much. Orsted, what have you done? I think he's charm proof. Because I think that was supposed to have a charm on it. Hey kiddo, what you doing? Well, we're trying to do exercise on that thing. That's not how that works. There you go. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's safe to call this one. No, he just took out Squall, actually. They're getting there. I can't say that they've got any chance of winning, but they're picking dudes off. If only slightly. Here, what do you got for me? Got a troll notebook? Well, thank you. Adorable, just like runs up with random objects. Here! Alright, sundown goes away. He has, his sun has set. Alright. Alright. Goodbye, Lakugo. You're on a trap, though. But he did just take out 2 units with him, so if they went to sleep, what's gonna happen to him? Or no! She was immune. Does he have full ward? No, he's just getting real lucky. I think those things have like a 50-something% chance to hit. He's just getting real lucky. Alright, he's on a clock now. Just Orsted and Masaru just doing the best they can. Pounce. That pounce, though. They're trying so hard. They're doing their best. I think Renault is kind of causing their own team problems. Seems weirdly fitting. Alright, he's gone. That just leaves Punch Lord. Come on, Punch Lord! Or no, that was the Punch Lord. That was Orsted that just went down. Okay, so there we go. FF8 beats Live. They're still in it, though. Yellow just means they're temporarily out until the second round. They're just putting the losers bracket. Alright, so that'll be that for today. We're going to be continuing this on in the morning. Oh no. And we got an oh no in the background here. So, gotta get going. Thank you guys for stopping by. And yeah, we'll see you soon.